I don't know if winging is a good idea because I don't know where to go to. But I guess we'll try it out and see what happens.
There was a guy in the comments that was listening to the last one, and he's like, "Oh, this is really good. It's like Easy Allies." And then I said something about boob or butts, or Brian and I said something about butts, like a joke about Horizon Zero Dawn butts, and he made a comment, and he's like he was like commenting while he was watching, so you could see the degrade of like his interest in us. 40 minutes in real time, him just commenting like, "Oh, this is really good." First 10 minutes. Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. The face. Yeah, I agree. Oh, I checked out after you talked about the butts and all. And then
when did we talk about butts?
After what?
I think we said. I think we were talking about the face or something, and then Brian was like, "The real thing is the don't change the butts or something like that."
Oh, okay. He's like, "This doesn't represent me anymore."
I don't know if we'll get to it in comments, but did you see the Sonic dating sim?
I did see that. I forgot. Like by the time I saw it, I had not remembered what the podcast was.
It was very long.
I looked at. I looked at it a few days later, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is referring to.
It was Azario was.
What is this referring to?
Yeah, it was Azario asking, how can Sega team or the Sonic team create a Sonic game that would appeal to everybody? And I think that was their
Sonic dating sim. Sonic is a gag pickup artist.
That's right.
Tails gets married with kids endings. Sally's parents disapprove of you. Yeah, seeing if people are like pasta. Choosing cream IP bans you from the forums. I don't know what any of these things mean.
Dude, that's the joy about Sonic nerds, is that they can say a whole shitload of stuff and we just have to believe them because it might or might not be true.
I learned that cream.
Yeah, go ahead.
Last week, remember you said cream the bunny, and I said what? And then
yeah.
And I remember,
that's right.
Cream is a character.
Cream is a character.
Noisy Pixel.
Welcome back, folks, to the Noisy Pixel podcast, brought to you by noisypixel.net. I forget what the rest of what I usually say is, but I'm your host, Arthur, and I'm joined by Noisy Pixel dude, Azario Lopez. How are you?
Hello, Arthur.
You sound despondent. You're just worried about all these E3 predictions that we're gonna dole out here.
In this past week, I've matured a lot. Some might say I've changed.
How so?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a second part to this comment?
In a week's time, once you listen back to the things that you've said in the past, you can change in a couple days. And that's exactly what I'm exercising right now. So if you listen to the last podcast, I may have said something about butts, but that's not me anymore.
That's in the past. You no longer identify as that person anymore.
No.
Azario.
That's
last week's Azario.
I'm a new man. I'm a new man.
That's current to Brian, who's joining us in this week's podcast. Brian, how are you?
Everybody.
A very clean, a very somber Brian.
Brian went for the visual acknowledgement of the podcast, and I'm not certain how many people watched the video portion, but you're missing out if you're not checking out how we're dressed and everything.
Yeah, on this handsome mug right here.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Or Ian's beautiful blue shirt today. We kind of got a red versus blue thing going on here.
We do.
Oh yeah.
We are a Pokemon podcast.
Ian, did you plan this with Azario?
I did not, but it works out. It works out, at least on mine, because blue is on one side and red is on the other.
Yeah, so, same here.
I got the diagonal thing.
It would be even better if the two vertical spots switched, because then Ian and I would be the light colors and Azario and Brian would be the dark colors.
We could talk about colors all day.
Oh, yes.
But what are we here to talk about?
We're here to talk about E3 predictions, because E3, as we know it, is happening next week, along with not E3. What was that Jeff Keighley thing called?
The Jeff Keighley show, Jeff and Friends.
It's like summer game stuff, something. There's a bunch of video game announcement stuff happening in the next week or so, which is a big event for the industry. And it used to be bigger, I would say, but still the old tradition of sort of guessing what's going to be coming out is always fun to do. So we've sort of put together some, I was going to say predictions, part prediction, part sort of like dream hope. This is something that will happen during the show. And, it's difficult to get either of those right, but hopefully some of the dreams come true. Some of the actual predictions come true, but we're going to go around the table here, the virtual table, and just, hear from each of us what's something that we really want to have happen during E3 and what's something that we think might more tangibly actually happen. And I do want to preface, me personally, I'm going into this knowing that so much development has been delayed because of the pandemic, people not being able to go into offices, and a lot of game development is sort of reliant on people meeting in office spaces and talking about things. We saw God of War 2 got delayed this past week, which was sort of like not a big surprise. It was supposed to come out later this year and it went to 2022. So I don't know about you guys. I mean, my predictions, I was sort of being very, very cautious and conservative with that stuff in mind, but
I was thinking, Sony's not doing an event this year. Am I correct? So, okay. So no Sony specific predictions, but out of the gate, Bend Studio, the developer of Days Gone, did say they're creating a new IP. So although that's not an E3 announcement, there's going to be no Days Gone 2. It's just going to be a new game from them, which kind of sucks because Days Gone does end on a cliffhanger.
Really just waiting for the conclusion of that Days Gone saga. I know that came out a few weeks ago, that whole spiel about, I guess the game didn't do well enough or something like that. But I mean, for what does it even mean that a company's not at E3 anymore, right? Like they can just kind of announce things whenever they feel like it, right?
Yeah, EA kind of does it. Been doing it for a few years. Where they're like, F you, we're going to go across the street and have our own party.
Yeah.
Or the following week, just announce something, right?
Yeah, it's interesting how they go about doing that. And a lot of smaller developers will just rent out hotel rooms across the street just to save money because the booth space, the room space in the LA Convention Center can be expensive. So it's been fun the way that developers and publishers have navigated this event in the past. And now it's like, well, the event's not physical. So how do we navigate a virtual event like this? I doubt most of these people, there's 3 days of E3 and maybe even 4, but I don't think Ubisoft needs to be a part of E3 to have their own live event. They could just say, hey, come to Ubisoft YouTube channel. And I don't know. I don't think these publishers that are backing E3 right now need E3 to get the word out, but they still do. And that shows some loyalty to the event.
Last week, Far Cry and Horizon just dropped like, hey, watch this stream, and tons of people did. So, well, with that in mind, Azario, let's start with you since you've been thinking about this a lot.
I've just been dreaming about it. I've been waking up in night sweats.
Yeah. Do you want to start with what you've been dreaming about rather than the more down to earth prediction?
Yes, my dream, my E3 dream. So Xbox is hosting a little live stream, and they'll have it with Bethesda. But my dream goes beyond the Starfields and the what is it? What is that one that everyone likes with the medieval
Elder
stuff?
Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about that. Here's the setup. Fade to black on the screen. Mm-hmm. Green pops up. A nice shade of green. Mist floods the stage.
A new mist.
Yeah,
oh,
no,
okay.
no,
okay.
no. Just mist.
Sorry.
Just a nice mist.
Yeah.
Just a nice fog. A fog machine is turned on.
Fog machine going.
Fog.
Yeah.
Fog machine going. Phil Spencer walks. All you see is his silhouette from the back. He got green behind him, and then the front lights come on, and you see his beautiful face. And he's wearing a nice tight shirt. He's been working out. Pelotoning over the pandemic and just focusing on himself while he makes while he makes these huge deals, huge Xbox deals over the past year. He opens up the show by saying, "We all know you love Minecraft." Well, now, motherfuckers.
Yeah, oh, okay. He's dropping the hard MF. I was gonna say there's like a slow roar that begins, right?
Now, motherfuckers. Minecraft 2, Xbox exclusive. Pre-order your Series X now. We have at least 10 of them.
Azario,
No more support for any Minecraft on any other system. We are closing support on Minecraft 1 and Mojang is focused solely on Minecraft 2.
Sorry, when I said a dream prediction, I meant like something you wanted to have happen, not like something that came to you in a dream. Like a fever dream.
I believe that my dream is for Xbox to be as greedy as possible, because you know what? For the past generation in consoles, they've been stepped on and spit at by gamers, and Sony has just been peeing on them with third-party support, just taking dumps on this Xbox One and this Xbox One S. More like Xbox none, but now it is their time to shine and reverse that.
Or like Xbox XS. We already have a PlayStation. Get out of here. Am I right, guys?
I just think that it's time for Microsoft to be a little stingy with their IPs. They don't need to share. We don't need this together attitude. Fuck them. If I'm a little 12-year-old playing Minecraft, I gotta go Xbox.
So your general prediction is that Microsoft is going to start flexing its exclusivity deals.
All over the place.
They're going to be like, Minecraft. Oh, Sony's not here at E3. They're going to just everything.
Yep.
Just try
They're going to say new Wolfenstein, new Doom, Xbox exclusive. Go buy it now. They're going to flip the script too. I believe that they are going to do a first on Xbox, 6 months later on PC. So you can buy it on Xbox Series X, play it, and then it'll come to PC, because I mean, they're Microsoft. They have to.
I think that's against what they've been saying. They said anything that's available on Xbox will be available on Windows.
You know what? They also said we are all going to watch ESPN on our Xbox Ones, and who the fuck did that?
That's Don Matrick. All right.
We all talk.
He's gone.
We can all talk. We can all talk, my friends. But I think this year is the year that Microsoft takes it all back. And that's all I have to say about that.
Are you clarifying that as like a big prediction rather than like something you're like really looking forward to personally?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. It's a dream. It may not happen, but I'm looking forward to it all the same.
He's going to point, Phil Spencer is going to point to the camera and he's going to say video games, Xbox exclusive.
Yes.
We bought them all.
I hope. And just
he says, look at who we acquired. And it's just a big list of every company.
Oh my God. Just the
and by the way, takes the mic. E3 is over.
the lights, stage lights shut down. The whole production crew comes out and starts taking it down. Oh my God, it would be beautiful. Just the anger from all these Switch owners and mobile phone players, and just the anger that they'll have. But you know what? If they want to play Minecraft, they're gonna have to buy a Series X. That's just the way it is.
All right. Bold. I wonder if we should just stick with the outlandish predictions now to keep the flow of the show going.
I think my predictions and my dreams are the same. I think they're the same level of hype because they both won't happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, alternatively, I was going to piggyback on what you said a little bit, because my realistic prediction was I think we're going to have to see something from Microsoft. They launched a console without any exclusives. I mean, the obvious thing would be Halo Infinite, which would be later this year. But they've made like a lot of acquisitions in the past year or so. Some of them kind of contradictory in my mind. Like I think they own Obsidian, right?
Yep. Who's working on Grounded right now?
Obsidian, yeah. Well, and Avowed, I think, is the other one, right?
Yes. And
Obsidian is as close to having the business model of we're making what Bethesda makes, but we're actually releasing it as one can get, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, there's some problems with like Outer Worlds as a Fallout clone. I have some issues with Outer Worlds, but I liked it more than Fallout 4.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Outer Worlds was the better Fallout 4. It was like, man, this is what I wanted from Fallout. Yeah. Thank you for just giving me the what I've been looking for.
Yeah, I still think it had some issues that I don't know if I would hold it super fondly compared to 3 even or New Vegas, but yeah, definitely closer in that vein. And more importantly, it actually came out, right? Yeah. I don't know how long the Bethesda cycles are. So
they delivered on their DLC as well. So
true. Yeah.
Even after Microsoft bought them, they weren't like, oh, sorry guys, the DLC is not going to happen. They still went and developed the DLC.
Right. So my initial thought was that they would need to have something announced from Bethesda because they just had that hugely expensive acquisition of not just Bethesda but the parent company. Right? Or no, Bethesda.
Yeah, right? ZeniMax, I think.
ZeniMax. Yeah. I forget. There's like multiple, subsidiaries going on. So I forget how high up they went in purchase. But anyway, but Bethesda has really long cycles. So I don't know if they have anything to show,
Maybe a Blades update. They give you a Elder Scroll Blades update.
Wet 2. It's
a new area. A new
Skyrim again. The same one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think something from Microsoft and maybe more specifically Obsidian or maybe Fable or something was the realistic prediction I have. And I'll sneak that in there just because it's related to what you just said.
I would love a Fable. I would love it.
Yeah. Ian, you want to jump in here? You have your own prediction, big or small?
I don't know if I have a dream as grand as as that Xbox.
Can you set it up? No, can you set up?
we started with a showstopper.
I actually one of the dreams that I was thinking of is that there was actual people that had next gen consoles and had availability to that, and actually more exclusive. So I think I was actually very similar in dream wise to you, because when I think of Xbox, I don't think of a whole lot of exclusive stuff. So that would be cool. I remember when this is kind of on a tangent, but kind of related, when they talked about how they might acquire Batman and how that might go just Xbox. And as somebody that has Sony and Switch, I was like, oh fuck. And that's the only time I've ever felt like that. And then I realized, like, oh man, Xbox probably feels that way all the time with a bunch of stuff. So
how do we get Spider-Man on our console when Sony owns it?
Exactly. So yeah, but obviously I'm a huge Zelda fan. So I mean, I'm looking forward to any announcement of whatever Breath of the Wild 2 is. I don't know if it'll be any good.
I think you can realistically assume like that game started as just a DLC that they said became too expansive, so they made it into a full game, right?
Yeah. So I don't know, because it's been a minute since they've announced it. So I think the longer they hold off, maybe
they have to show something. They have to,
right? Because it might do more damage if they just keep on delaying it.
Sorry, I don't know if Nintendo has ever shied away from delaying a game forever.
No, you're right. I'm just saying, like, as far as like when it actually comes out and how it will be received, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't think that they will worry about delaying it, but if they're expecting something, as different as the first Breath of the Wild is, I don't think they'll get that response. So that's all.
Something interesting that Nintendo has been doing is they've been announcing games that are coming out in 2 to 3 months. They'll announce a game and then here's a release date 3 months from now. They did it for the golf game that's coming out later this month. Yeah, I think later this month. They did it for that Bravely Default game. I think they just put out a demo and released it.
Is this in tandem with the general criticism Nintendo's been getting recently, where they make announcements and it's for like dumpster tier games that nobody actually cares about? You know what I'm talking about?
They've just hosted a lot of directs. Like that's their thing. Like,
and I think that's a double-edged sword with that, because for a long time they weren't doing third-party stuff. And now that they do, some of those aren't going to be that exciting if you're not into. I think, whatever their last direct was, they're like, it's available now. And I think there were some people there's like, okay, but at least it's there. You know what I mean? I guess. So, I wish there was like a collection of the 3DS remakes on Switch. That would be cool for Zelda. I don't think they will with Skyward Sword. And there's another game that it has like an anniversary that I don't want to talk about because we're going to talk about it later.
We might be talking about the same thing potentially.
Yeah. Okay. So, so that was Dreamwise. You're really hoping for something Zelda related,
like a collection
too. Yeah, the collection. I think they probably will say something about the Breath of the Wild. I think they will. But yeah, Dreamwise, that would be really cool to have like some collections or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hold on to your other one for now. Let's go to Brian here. What are your big ideas for what you're hoping for from the show?
So prepping for the podcast, I was very excited because I heard about Prince of Persia: Sands of Time getting a remake. And then I looked it up right before this podcast that it's not going to be at E3. Yeah. I'm like, oh, my dream has already died before it hits the podcast table. So I guess for Dreamwise, I think it'd be cool to see. I feel like we haven't gotten a new Mario Kart in a while, because even like Mario Kart 8 was like a whatever. And I feel like they'd really need to get a new one out there. Why not? We're due for it. So that's a dream. And then dream and also kind of realistic and would be seeing more for Fable 4, which I believe is just called Fable, right? Is what they're saying.
I mean, I've seen it referred to as Fable 4. I don't know if it has a real name at this point.
Horrible.
That's it. Starting with the 4 and then also making the A a 4.
Yes.
Horrible. That sounds like horrible. Terrible. But that's definitely something that I'd want to see get shown at E3. And I think there was like a rumor online when I was looking up Fable information that it might be an MMO. But I think that was just like a one-off rumor from some journalists saying like, oh yeah, it might be an MMO. And I'm a big MMO fan. So any MMORPG news is exciting for me.
Yeah, that would be odd. Although I guess Microsoft doesn't really have, I like launching an MMO and if you're not like an Asian company, it just seems like so retro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just bought,
especially because it's like Xbox, like it's probably going to be most likely an Xbox exclusive, and it's hard to see it being an MMORPG on the Xbox. Like
they basically published the global version of Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, which launches today. At the time of this recording, it's available on only Xbox and PC, while in Japan it's available on all consoles.
So they got that genre covered in their portfolio, you could say. Yeah,
Xbox doesn't need an MMO now that they put all that money behind that publishing.
I have to say, well, I take it those are your dream things, Brian. The thing I was going to say is it's difficult for me to sort of give a dream for the show, because I feel like really any game that gets made these days is not going to be like the type of game I would want it to be, if that makes any sense.
Why are you such a nihilist?
Nihilist.
Yeah, you're such a nihilist.
I'm such a nihilist. I know what you meant to say. I don't know, man. You live in a room that's painted like blood with all these skulls around you, and it just kind of rubs off. Well, I mean, I understand that the trend for video games is that it's become more of a business, and businesses that are privately owned or publicly owned want to have reliable revenues. And that means having gaming models that supply reliable revenues, which is not having 3-year development cycles and then a one-off that you make all your money in 2 weekends and then it's over, right? So like, I get that. I just wish there's a little room to sort of saturate that whole approach to video games, and then make something beyond that. So the thing I was going to say is I would really like to hear what BioWare is doing, with the caveat that Anthem did not interest me at all. So I don't know what that means. I started playing Andromeda for the first time in the past few months, and although it was not great, it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was just kind of soulless. Which makes me think, like, that studio still, like, they have an idea of what the game is supposed to be like that people enjoy. It just didn't work out in that instance. It's not like the game's identity was unrecognizable from BioWare. It was just bad, right? So like a Mass Effect or a Dragon Age is something I would really like to see personally.
They really screwed the pooch with Anthem. They really everything.
Yeah.
From the launch to the messaging post-launch to everything they did about Anthem was terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I wish for Anthem they kind of just didn't say anything about it and then did the whole Nintendo thing where it's like, it's out in 2 months, like after they finished it.
Yeah.
Because the whole doing the alpha thing and all that stuff, it was kind of like teasing you for something good, and then they never were able to deliver on it.
Yeah, and there's the whole thing after the fact where they were saying we're going to commit to Anthem. We're going to do like a redesign, right?
Yeah.
And then they announced a few months ago that they had killed that. So now they're on to the next project. So, I mean, on one hand, like, maybe the failure of that means they won't try that again, and maybe they'll go back to what they're traditionally good at. But on the other hand, I don't know. Okay, so we can try it. Let's go back around and do some maybe realistic or pragmatic predictions. One thing I want to sprinkle in there is an idea for you guys to think about is knowing that a lot of development has been held up. It's very likely that we're going to get a lot of re-release announcements. So if you're already thinking about this, then cool. But if not, is there like a game that could be re-released that you may be looking forward to? And Brian, I know you mentioned Sands of Time, but
not showing. Very sad.
Yeah,
very, very sad about it.
Yeah. So if not that, I mean, you have another practical, realistic prediction that you're thinking might happen.
I'm expecting like Square Enix to just have a big old sizzle reel of all things Final Fantasy that they're planning on doing, like multiple Final Fantasy things back to back, and like, I don't know, accumulating into the next Final Fantasy that they're doing. So it's gonna be like a bunch of either like remakes or like side Final Fantasy adjacent things, followed by like a big Final Fantasy announcement.
Mm-hmm. That Red 13 game finally going to come together. It's a pre-show joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing about a Final Fantasy announcement is it's interesting because there are a lot of Final Fantasies in the mix right now. You have Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2, fucking Intergrade will come out on Friday, so that's like 2 days before their E3 event. So they're going to be pushing that. Even the thing about Intergrade too, we're still looking for a PC announcement for Final Fantasy VII Remake or just any other console. So that they can even go that route. There's a lot, but it's also an American-based like event. So do expect something from Eidos, maybe a new Tomb Raider or a Life is Strange game reveal. You know, they love showing something about the Avengers, keeping that shitty game alive.
Are you kind of cutting the line here and giving your own?
No, I'm just setting expectations.
Yeah.
Just adding context.
Yeah, just adding context. Ian, you have your own expectations that you're setting for what you think they might be more realistically announced in the show.
I do think there will be some crossover, like with the Breath of the Wild too. But I would not be surprised if they did something Kirby related. Actually,
Nintendo's on your mind then. Ian,
Nintendo.
Right?
Well, I'm a Switch guy, and I don't have a next gen console right now.
I'm a Switch guy.
That's right. I'm a Switch guy.
That's what I am.
Yeah. And so there's that. Brian kind of stole mine with some of the Final Fantasy stuff, but I think I think they're going to push really hard as well. Yeah. So that's kind of what I was expecting, but I think some other like Nintendo properties like Kirby, I think will be.
Am I dreaming that there was some Kirby announcement that happened in the past week, or was that some unrelated tweet that
probably some unrelated?
I
don't think there's anything.
I think there's been. I mean, but there's always rumors. I don't know.
Yeah, there's always rumors.
The Kirby manga is coming out this month or next month.
Oh,
gotta catch up on that Kirby lore.
Yeah, they released in '92, but they're barely bringing it west now. This is no big deal. Let's just talk about something else. Let's just move on.
Okay. Azario, did you give us your realistic prediction for the show?
I'll give you a realistic prediction. Okay.
Set the scene.
So white background,
Right.
Nintendo live stream. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
White background. That new guy Bowser, he comes on screen.
The man.
The man. No, yeah, the man. The new
Not the character.
Yeah,
What's
the CEO.
his CEO?
Doug Bowser.
Yeah.
Doug Bowser, Nintendo America.
All right.
He comes out in front of the white screen, and remember that that Coachella maybe 11 years ago, where Ghost Tupac showed up on the virtual thing.
Yes.
You have Ghost Iwata standing next to Bowser.
Very, very tasteful.
Ooh, I don't think they would ever.
No, too soon.
No, I don't
Too
think that would ever happen.
Too soon.
That sounds like another fever dream from Azario.
This is a realistic one, right?
yeah.
This is very realistic.
After I just talked about Kirby, you had to throw it in there.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
And he says, look at these good graphics. We finally have them. Sizzle reel 4K Switch. Announced by Ghost Iwata. But it's not a real ghost. It's just the projector. The two
I'd like to put that under my dreams. Red comment, put it in my dreams answer.
I just want you to clip the intro to be like realistic predictions. Something from Obsidian, Final Fantasy, Zelda, Ghost Iwata.
There's not a thumbnail of Ghost Iwata for this.
I know you're joking, but do you know how like emotional that would be if they had like a clip of like a final thing that was like unreleased of something that he had in mind with the Switch?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'd be in tears.
Yeah.
With like violin, string music playing in the background.
Dude, that would be something.
He said he said he wanted 8K. Well, we gave him 12K. 12K Switch. And that's all I got to say about that.
Okay.
All right, so rate our predictions in the comments. Which you think are most likely to
happen.
From A to Z, you can give the AZ score to all of Azario's. Okay.
Let's read some comments from the. Read some listener comments.
We went to Twitter. We also read the YouTube comments every week, but we got most of the predictions for E3 from Twitter this week. And we got a few from various listeners. I didn't put them in any particular order other than the order that I saw them in the feed. So the first one from Agro. He says his dream is Final Fantasy 1-6 port in the HD 2D style. Honestly, I'd be happy to just have a good port. And he says his realistic one is Final Fantasy Origin will be the only Final Fantasy they talk about.
Final Fantasy Origin is the PlayStation one with like 1 and 2 on there, right? Isn't that Final Fantasy Origin?
Who's the fact checker you're looking to here?
Yeah, they did release or the on PlayStation. They did have Origins. I think it was Final Fantasy Origins. Yeah.
Yes. It was 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what they're referring to, but
Whenever I talk about early Final Fantasies, like before 4, I get into this like bottomless pit because like Final Fantasy 2 was Final Fantasy 3 in the US or the other way around.
I think it was the other
4. It was 2 in Japan became 4, and then 6 became 3 here. It's a mess.
Yeah. So what that leaves me with is like, is there one less Final Fantasy game than I think there is? Like, is one of these a repeat?
They did start releasing them on PlayStation in little. They had like Anthology, Origin, and another one, something with Chrono Trigger on it. Yeah, they did release these little dual things.
Well, when someone is saying Final Fantasy 1 through 6, is that 6 different games that literally exist, or is there one of them that's just a repeat? Okay,
but then you get into weird stuff where it's like they actually added Final Fantasy for the after years on PSP. So I mean, there's a lot there in that weird 6 games.
Iron Aggro, what's that on, man?
Just make a giant compilation for like people who don't Final Fantasy, just so that they can
Sony can stop being a bunch of Sony can stop being a bunch of bitches and just let us play PlayStation games on our PS4. Jesus Christ! If I can play fucking Psy Girls on my Xbox Series X, then I should be able to play Toomba on my PS4.
Backwards compatible should be a thing. Yeah. Like more than just PS4, but I could see where they would release a huge like physical version of 1 through 6 and like marking that up like crazy.
I think the only Final Fantasy of that bunch that isn't available is 1 and 2. Like on Steam, even you can get 3, 4, and 5, and 6.
Oh, really? Okay, 1 and 2 maybe.
Yeah. So 1 and 2 though, I think are like significantly older than the other ones, right?
Yeah, 1 is like 86, I want to say.
Yeah.
87?
So, 1's okay. 2's not that good.
They're no worries.
Knocking things over. Yeah, I mean, if there was ever a year to do it, though, I think a lot of developers are looking back at their back catalog and seeing if there's some opportunity to re-release.
How do we squeeze some money out of these nerds just for a little longer?
That's the general industry motto. Let's move on to another nerd here. Buchu says his dream is, I'm going to butcher this name, a Densetsu no Staffy collection for the Switch. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation.
I'm going to have to Google that one, guys.
This is where you make an edit and no.
no, this is the good
roll with it. I shared it in the Discord.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a Star little guy platformer. It's developed by.
So you're deeply familiar with it as you read from Google.
Yeah. It's developed by a developer named Tosei and published by Nintendo. It is a platformer and you play as a star.
Okay.
And there's like 4 of them. And a few of them came to DS, but they never came west.
Based on how he wrote it, I think he's talking about the original one.
He wants them all.
But I can see why that is a dream.
Yeah, just some no-name star.
I will say, so let me read the other ones. His realistic one was Bloodborne 60 FPS patch and the PC version, and a prediction we'll finally see something from Bayonetta 3. I gotta say, all 3 of these gotta sound like dreams to me, Buchu.
I mean, Bloodborne 60 FPS or 6, I can 60
see
FPS.
that.
Yeah, that might
just
be
getting mentioned. Like
you can play it.
Like, hey, we fixed it. It's 60 FPS now.
On PS5, you can now play it at 60 FPS is what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
because that PC version is not happening.
You said it. You said it here.
There's my prediction.
He's crushing his dreams, man.
Proven negative. I just know that has been a rumor multiple times, and there have been some false starts with that, and I don't think it's going to come together. So personally, Bayonetta 3, I don't even know if that game is real at this point.
Yeah. it's still in development because Nintendo's funding it. So
Yeah, sure.
it's because they want it to be a Switch exclusive, basically.
They're waiting.
Not a
They're
game
waiting.
that I would want to be Switch exclusive.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean,
I would much rather have that game on any other platform.
Well, if it wasn't, it wouldn't come out at all, right? Like that's
Yeah,
the
that's
story.
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
if
fair.
Nintendo didn't give
it
them
leaves
money.
room for it to go somewhere else later. So.
And I will much rather take a Switch exclusive to a Wii U exclusive. So,
Ooh, truth.
although Bayonetta 2 came out on Switch eventually, right? Maybe.
I believe so. I think you can get it as a bundle or something.
Yes.
I believe it did.
I'm really happy Bayonetta exists. I definitely have not played it as much as the passion for that game exists out there.
It is on Switch, and it comes packed with Bayonetta 1.
Oh, even better.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. That's actually pretty great. It's a good deal.
Good guy, Nintendo.
Yeah. That's what they're known for.
I'm the fact checker.
Okay, let's keep going. Pons 908. He says his dream is a 166 Amsterdam revival.
No idea what that is. I even Googled it,
Okay.
and I just got a lot of sim games, weird sim games.
Maybe
I
it's
don't
a sim game.
Maybe that's what he wants.
I hope that your dreams come true, Pons.
Maybe we should ask them to like link the game next time. As well, on top of just the name of the game.
Next year, you guys link the game, do a little legwork. You know,
Help us fact check you.
I think we made a safe assumption that the game suggestions would be ones that exist.
Yeah, dreams. It's hard to link dreams.
Yeah.
yeah, as I've
Don't let
proven.
your dreams be dreams.
Yeah.
And then his predictions were Starfield, possible in-game footage, a Nintendo Switch Pro, some Star Wars games such as Jedi Fallen Order sequel, or a Knights of the Old Republic remake. So the KOTOR remake, as the guy that referenced BioWare, I think would be super cool. At the very least, if they did some work on that PC version. I know KOTOR 2 got like a patch, if not last year, then the year before that, so that it has like controller support and new resolution support and things like that. So you can play that game, like a relatively modern game now, beyond its just like design.
Did we all play KOTOR on this this podcast?
I've played it.
I
played
have
it.
watched somebody play KOTOR.
You played KOTOR, Brian?
No, I have not played KOTOR.
Ah, Brian.
KOTOR.
I have watched people play KOTOR. I didn't buy into KOTOR.
It holds up. I gotta say.
I just want to find a game that we've all played, and that we can all be like, oh, we've all played that game.
Call of Duty.
Well,
Zelda Breath of the
Another
Wild.
weekend, play a game, and then we'll all have played it.
That's true. We should all just play a game together.
Well, as great as that idea would be, I think I don't know if BioWare is put together to do something like that. The other one's Starfield in-game footage. I think everybody is hoping for that.
I think it's gonna happen. They
I'm
kind
just-
of frame it, and there's those weird fucking flyers that have been going around that has like the planets and it says "We are coming," but it's like it might be linked to an IM 8-bit thing. But there's nothing like there's like a phone number that you can. Have you guys seen these on Twitter? People posting.
No,
Yeah,
No,
I'm pretty great at avoiding all advertising whatsoever.
These like weird
like one of
mailers are
those, like,
going around.
Easter egg hunt sort of situations.
Yeah, with a phone number
Figure
on
out.
it, and you have to call it, but it's like it says "We are coming" on there. It's super weird, but it might be tied to IM 8-bit, but no one knows what it is. Everyone
Like
else is saying Starfield.
an alternate reality game or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with that. Nintendo Switch Pro. They released a different version of the Switch in the past year, right? Like
Updated hardware.
Yeah, but it was like handheld only, right?
No. That has the old Switch in it. The dockable Switch got some better hardware innards inside of it, like a year. Or something. Same price though. It's the same.
like a better battery life
processor or something. Yeah, it's
things
something
like that. Yeah, some small
like that.
tweaks.
Yeah.
You think that nixes the likelihood of a Switch Pro?
I do. No, that was my prediction. I think
The 12K.
No, well, I mean, I do think that if they don't come out with something more powerful, they're gonna have trouble getting third party people to support them in the future. Just from like porting games, from a porting standpoint, you can get away with it for a year or two, maybe, because I mean they're still releasing PS4 and Xbox One games, but is Mass Effect Legendary Edition, is that going to come to Switch? You know, like,
I mean, that's an old game, right? That
But
should
that-
be
yeah.
able to.
yeah, it should, but it's not on there. So
Hmm.
I'm thinking maybe if they have like I mean, they do it all. Nintendo does it because they know they can. They launched the new 3DS, and you bet your ass I fucking bought that stupid thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a new 3DS, like the worst name you could think of. Like, someone got paid $200,000 to come up with this name. It is
And it was,
no way.
it was just a quality of life for the 3DS.
Oh yeah,
like,
dude, it booted up a little faster, it loaded games
it
a little
wasn't
better.
that big of a difference.
It had
but
better
you're
eye
like,
tracking, but I fucking loved it. I was all about
it was like
the new 3DS.
it was like the definitive 3DS essentially.
Yeah.
And so if you didn't get one yet, now would be the time to get it. But if
You
anybody
flex
already
on
had
those
a 3DS,
Monster
you're
Hunter
like,
nerds.
"Ooh."
Yeah. Not only was it a total ripoff, but you loved it, right?
Oh, I don't. They can fuck me in the face as much as they want, and like many Nintendo fans, I feel like we're in the same boat. I bought Breath of the Wild on Wii U and on Switch. That's how disgusting of a person I am.
I'll look up where's the Switch and overall sales at this point. I guess it's still below. Actually, it's below quite a bit of consoles. It's below the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, obviously the Wii, PlayStation.
It did well over COVID. COVID, you were hard pressed to find a Switch.
Well, yeah, I mean the Switch and Animal Crossing combo. I mean that was the story of the summer, right?
Yeah.
Killed.
So, I was looking at those numbers to see, like, yeah, do they care? I think the Switch is doing fine, right? Like maybe give it another year, and they might consider updating the hardware a bit.
People seem like this is the year that they're going to announce something. I'm eager to see. I'll buy it.
Pragmatically, with the ongoing semiconductor shortage, probably not the best time to announce new hardware, right?
I just don't like the 720 900p whatever they got going right now. Like,
yeah, well, welcome
do
to
so
being a
much
Nintendo
better.
fan, man. That's
and
been
then put out a sweet ass Xenoblade with that 4K Xenoblade. Oh boy. Oh boy, because they got bathing suit DLC in that boy. Oh man, seeing the oh Lord. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, do you have similar love for Star Wars games like Jedi Fallen Order? Anybody play that game?
Oh yeah, has the guy from Shameless as the actor in it.
I have not played it, unfortunately. I heard good things. That's Respawn, right?
Yeah, it's like Dark Souls with Jedi, and it's so much fun. It's like
it was super buggy. Did they ever fix that?
Oh, it's hell of the bugginess. The bugginess comes with like doing things. Like if you die a bunch at one part, you'll start like getting so like upset that you're dying that you'll just hold forward, and while it's like loading in, you'll be able to move a little bit, and that'll cause issues in the game. Like before it fades to the game when it's respawning, you can move, and then it just doesn't load some of the level and shit like that.
So a classic Soulsborne then.
Oh yeah. It's buggy, but the story and just the fighting system and the upgrade system, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap up with these other predictions real quick. I'm going to go to One Just, who gave quite a few. I'm just going to read through all of them quick. Several Dreams, Fire Emblem 3 Houses Warriors game gets announced. There's a lot of possessives there. Persona 4 Golden comes to Switch.
That would be interesting.
Dead or Alive 6 isn't dead.
Oh, yes, it is.
That's a dream.
But I mean, they did announce Dead or Alive 5 at an E3, so they might announce 6, or they'll do like, or is it Dead or Alive 6? Yes, they did announce it at E3, but maybe Dead or Alive 6 Ultimate or Last Round or something. But
no, just last round and then a bunch of DLCs.
they put out Dead or Alive 6, and it dropped support after 1 year on the market. They don't update it anymore. It's so shitty when that game, a fucking good game, gets dropped, but Jump Force 3 years after launch is still getting fucking DLC characters. It's beyond me. Tekken, for the past 7 years, Tekken 5, Tekken 6, the newest Tekken, just got a new
I think they're up
character.
to 7, right?
Yeah, Tekken 7. Yes. Just got that Alicia character or whatever her name is, the Polish prime minister girl. Just got a new DLC character.
They got the Polish prime minister in a Tekken game.
Yes.
I think it's a man.
No, it's a woman here.
In the Tekken verse. Yeah.
The Tekken verse. Yes.
Okay. Well,
but yeah.
Well, I was going to piggyback on the Persona 4 Golden thing. Ian, I don't know if this is what you were going to mention, but another dream I would have that's tangential to that is the Persona 3 Fest or something like that getting re-released because it has its 15-year anniversary next month. And the series in general.
That was it. So no, if you want to talk about that.
Well, I mean, Persona 3 is very similar to Persona 4. Most people got in on Persona 4 because I think that just sort of hit a zeitgeist that clicked for a lot of people. But Persona 3 was really the one that like made the formula that 4 used. And my understanding is that 1 and 2 are very different from 3, 4, and 5. And 3 is really great, in my opinion. I mean, there's a major gameplay change where you don't have direct control over your other characters. So it's a little something to get used to. Mm-hmm. Some would argue that it gives them more personality, but others would say it's just annoying that you have to sort of guess what the characters are going to do. It's also a much darker game. Not that Persona 4 was particularly, I mean, it's a very friendship oriented game and has bright colors and things like that. They
shoot each other in the head or they shoot.
Yeah. Persona 3, technically it's like an invoker. And I don't think they literally shoot themselves in the head, but like it clicks in such a way that it invokes your persona to come out of you. But yeah, I mean, the whole theme of Persona 4 is truth, and the theme of Persona 3 is death. So it is unsurprisingly a darker game, but still just as good. Characters are really great. Gameplay is really great. And they already did a re-release with Fest at some point that came out on the PSP, I think.
Yes, it's very expensive right now. It's like $110.
Yeah, I mean, even just regular Persona 3 is difficult to get. I remember I played it. I got a downloadable version on it on my PlayStation 3 a few years after 4 came out. But now you just can't get that game at all. And since they're sitting there looking for things to re-release, I was hoping that and because Persona 4 Golden was like such a success, I think Atlas was saying that they were surprised how enthusiastically the game was received, despite already coming out on the Vita. So that'd be my hope. Of course, Persona 4 Golden on the Switch would also be great. That would be a good game to have on the go. Well, now I wonder if I should check in with Ian on what was the other thing you were going to mention, because I'm not certain if we're going to get time to reference it, or is it coming up still?
I think it is coming up still. Let me just double check
Okay, well, so we have Spencer after this, but
Spencer is the one.
Okay. So one Jess also said his predictions are the Demon Slayer fighting game gets a worldwide release date set for early October, and is this LIS or LIS remasters get a late October release date?
Life is Strange.
There
is that what that is? Okay.
Yes,
there's like a new Life is Strange coming out, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's Life is Strange, more like Woke is Strange, because those games are hella woke. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Political podcast, Azario.
Because like you don't have to relationship the characters in those games, but I totally did. like I did it. And
most people did. I think most people did.
I think the first Life is Strange came out episodically, and I think I played the first episode and I thought it was okay, and then I just never followed up with it.
There's one episode in Life is Strange 1 where when it ends, you're just like, well, I fucking have to play this game because of how it ends. And like,
like, is this how the one with the lady on the rooftop?
Yeah. So
I think I got there.
You can't even what? Yes, the lady's on the rooftop.
The lady.
There's a lady on a rooftop. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think the idea back then with wanting to change time and stuff, I think it really resonated with me, and like having
Life
that.
is Strange being an adventure game where you kind of make decisions and then you have the mechanic where you can rewind and choose something else after you see what happens, right?
I thought it was a little too nice because I would just do everything, the same, just rewind. But very interesting, very good game.
Yeah, I'm told the follow-ups were much better than anyone was anticipating. Like even when they switched characters and things like that, it was
They switched developers in like the second one, right? Or the Before the Storm, I think.
Before the Storm, I think was another developer. I want to say.
Yes. That was like a prequel. And that one was okay too.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then Life is Strange 2 was about the two boys, and people have mixed perceptions about that one.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it gets a remaster. I mean, if that's the one thing that studio has been doing, they're probably twiddling their thumbs, like we said. Or no, that's Don't Nod, right? They're making other stuff.
Don't Nod. I think they are doing the remaster of the first one.
They did. They did Tell Me Why. Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Interesting decision to bring in Backstreet Boys in that development.
The name of the game is Tell Me Why.
I know. It's too deadpan, Azario. I'm sorry.
You're such a nihilist.
That's me. By the way, they're totally unrelated, but in the first episode, you said that I seemed like a guy that was into Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yes.
And I thought you were having like an aneurysm and you were just saying like words. And I'm like, wait a minute, that is like a real fucking show. I just want to look back and say sorry.
So you weren't a fan of
No,
Space
I thought
Ghost?
you were just saying random words. And you know what's funny? What's funny is I looked it up and I'm like, I do know that show, and I think I do remember liking it. But
dude, it's fucking good. If you for all you millennials or little younger boys, what is it?
For all you nihilists.
Are they Zoomers? Is that
Zoomers?
No,
for all you.
No, Space Ghost is not for Zoomers. That
who's
is
a
millennial
space
fever dream.
Oh, it's such a perfect show.
Yeah.
I love it.
It was for millennials.
For those nihilists out there, that is a surreal show that you can question whether or not you've seen it or not. Available on YouTube. Anyway, let's get to the last one here from Spencer, the arch nemesis of this podcast.
Catch him weekly on Unqualified Game Chat.
Or don't. Only listen to this podcast. You don't have time for that one. He says his dream is this year. This is the year that Mother 3 comes west. I can feel it in my ticket bones. And realistically, he thinks Metroid Prime 4 information will come out.
Yeah.
Or he'll leap. Mother 3 being the one you're thinking, right?
No, actually, Metroid Prime.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a huge Metroid.
Oh, yeah. Are you a Mother fan?
Yeah. Not as much as Metroid though. And it's one of those that I love, but I never gets I don't think Nintendo really loves it as much,
Metroid,
I think I don't think they get the money ever back they're hoping, but I don't feel like they ever market it like as heavily as their other games. So
Metroid's such a weird spot for their catalog because it's like inherently the most not their brand.
Yeah. Shooting, adventure, dark, gritty.
Alien.
Yeah.
Violence.
Would you just have to do the first person Metroid Prime kind of style thing again? Like, how do you can you do that again and it be viable to release on as
Breath of the Wild as Metroid Prime? Hear me out here. I mean, that wouldn't be a terrible idea, but
that would be a terrible idea.
Well,
an open world Metroid.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be disgusting.
She's got all those gadgets and stuff. Well, first of all, Metroid is like basically open world before open world was a thing.
Oh come! It was called a Metroidvania.
No, but there's like free form approach to how you progress through the game, just like open world games.
Metroid just made a Metroidvania, dude.
When they started Metroid, they're like, we want to make a Metroidvania. I don't know what that is, but it sounds great. What should we call it? And they're like, hear me out. Metroid. Holy shit. That makes sense because that's the genre.
I would think a Metroid 4 on Switch would be great. But Metroid Prime series is I think they would need to re-release Metroid Prime first to kind of get
I'll play that first game again. I don't remember the third one really doing anything for anybody.
I like the second one too.
The second one's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I
Was it Echoes?
Yeah.
I remember getting stuck on the boss that you had to fight in the Dark World, and I was 12 and I didn't like it, so I stopped playing it.
That is fair.
Would you prefer the first person to third person perspective? Like, would that change the experience?
That's like the whole game.
But
didn't you hear that Metroid Prime is like Citizen Kane because you can see Samus in the visor? Does anybody remember that hot IGN article from like 10 years ago?
No, but that is so dumb. But yeah, because they tried that with like, was it Other M? I think they tried the third. It was a weird like mix of
third
like
person. Well, that's Team Ninja, right? I mean, that's a real fever dream of a game.
It is. Man, that was a weird one. But yeah, I think it's probably.
I was going to say, Noisy Pixel needs to put together a top 10. Can you believe that game was a thing that was made? And I think Metroid Other M should be 2 or 3 on there.
They had a really good commercial for it.
Yeah, I mean, it looked cool.
That passes the say. It looks cool to me.
I mean, I bought it.
Yeah, I did too. I bought it when it was new, and then it's like $5, like 2 months later. Yeah. So
do we remember what the Other M was?
No.
I did not get that far.
I did. Yeah. No, I beat it. I couldn't tell you.
At the end, and it's like, that's the Metroid, and then the general says, no, that's the Other M.
Roll credits.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow,
oh my god, I want to fucking beat that game now.
You're gonna have me thinking about that. Like, I'll have to look that up later. But,
I don't know.
But
I'm getting too hot and spicy with Ian. Yes, you're here.
I know. But no, I think you're right that they probably should release that trilogy they had on.
Yeah, they would have to release the trilogy first, see where we stand on it, and then get the fans interested, and then come out with Metroid.
It's the time for re-releases, so why not?
Why not?
Much Mother 3 love going on here. It's the ongoing meme, that, and like, what else we got? Half-Life 3, are those the last ones standing?
I'm in the ballpark where I see all these people that want Mother 3, and that just makes me not want it to come.
Oh, who's the nihilist now?
Who's the see? Yeah, you live long enough to see yourself become the nihilist.
Like an hour ago.
Time moves fast in my world. I've matured.
Yeah. He's a different Azario than he was before. But
I like the name Earthbound more than Mother, so I would like it to be called Earthbound 3.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's
the third Earthbound game. Yeah.
Yes. Earthbound the third.
Yeah, Earthbound the third.
The sister sequel to Saints Row the third.
The thing about Earthbound is they did the Fire Emblem like Nintendo re-release where they put it, they made a limited edition for it and everything, and just like the game wasn't packed in there. It was just a digital code. They put out a physical limited edition of the first Fire Emblem. I can only imagine, why wouldn't they do that for Mother 3?
Nintendo are also nihilists. They hate their own fan base. I mean, I think Reggie has even been like shitposting about this on Twitter about how Mother 3 was going to come out eventually.
He was on the Robot Chicken and just pissed off everyone by burning that character for saying Mother.
Oh yeah.
Something like that. But
I don't know that one, but
yeah, it's interesting. I don't see why they wouldn't, because they did Fire Emblem, so why not? And that was the first time Fire Emblem officially came west, the first one at least.
Yeah, Kid Icarus. They're doing it for it all, right?
And so why not this little game?
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
I was never an Earthbound fan though.
Really?
I thought it was okay, But
I play Ness on Smash sometimes.
yeah.
You know, do some Peak of Fire. It's bullshit.
Fire. the thing is I kind of hipster out on those things where like if it's too cool, I just kind of back off.
What is the thing with Mother 3 that like that's a JRPG, right?
It is. But there's fan localizations for it. If you want it, you can get it for eBay, and they do repro carts of it and everything. Like you can buy this game.
Is it like actually good, or is it like a meme? You know,
I don't know. I've never played it. I've watched speedruns of it.
Because it looks like a late 80s, early 90s era JRPG, which is not an era of games in general that I'm like, you know, that's something that should get re-released in the modern day. You know,
I think people like the tone of those games more than anything.
Yeah,
like
the conversation.
I think it was more the story about it than the actual game.
It was in the vein of like Persona 4, I believe. And the conversations in Persona 4, how I can play it today and still kind of relate to what they're saying, even though that game was made 15 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, 2008.
You can play Earthbound and be like, oh, this is funny because like this is like timeless banter right here. It's good. It's really good.
Well, maybe we'll all see it soon.
I don't think the battle system has aged well, though. They would need to do something with it because just people nowadays, I don't know who's your fan base. Are you trying to fucking support these 35-year-old nerds that are just like, oh, Mother 3? Are you trying to do the Fortnite?
Yeah, I wonder if that's like a thing you keep in your back pocket of like, when can we, if you know, break glass if need of goodwill, right? It's like, we're releasing it. You like us now, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a new Switch exclusive. It can only run on new Switch.
I don't see how they couldn't get money off it though. You know?
Oh yeah, it's a cash cow.
So
is that real? I don't know. So, I hear about Mother 3. I mean, like I said, like to me in my mind, it's like it's a meme. I don't know anybody that's ever played Mother 3. I just hear people talk about Mother 3 as if it's like, yeah, they should do that. You know.
Yeah.
I've never played Earthbound 2. I've only played Earthbound.
Again, if they market it, it's about their marketing too. If they market it right, because there's a bunch of people that have really got into like Undertale and stuff, and you could really tap into that market that essentially took a lot of elements from those games and just you know, I don't know.
The Undertale comparison is a good example. That's like a more recent thing that people could attach to and be like, oh, I liked that. So I could see that.
I didn't like it.
I don't know how I don't know how well it would actually do, but I mean, I guess it depends on how much they're selling it for, all that stuff.
Just announce Mother 3 with Undertale characters.
Yeah, like an Undertale like pre-order DLC play.
Undertale characters or something. Undertale and Stardew Valley characters are now in it.
Undertale : Mother 3.
Yeah, XX.
Or just bundle the two games together.
Stardew Valley X Braid.
Yeah,
and all those characters are now in it.
Toss Braid in there too. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, none of that or some of that may ever happen in the next week as we see what happens with E3. I think this is going a little bit longer than anticipated.
We're good. We can. That could be our E3 show.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
We did it.
I think we did it. Recording. So no games to talk about this week. Not that we weren't playing games, but just sort of getting prepared for this show personally. Is there going to be any special E3 coverage for this coming week, Azario? Anything to look out for?
We're going to have so much coverage at E3. We're going to be booming with coverage. So keep it locked. Keep it locked. Keep it locked to noisypixel.com.
Noisypixel.net.
Sorry. I'm super hyped up right now on E3.
Let's do them.
And by the way, if you know anyone who owns noisypixel.com, just give us a call.
Okay? Yeah. While we're on the subject,
we'll pay them a singular penny.
Yes. We'll ask them nicely to give us the domain.
Is E3
we'll let you be on one podcast episode.
Are you guys going up to the convention center at all, or?
No, we're in like the virtual E3 or whatever.
Yeah. So your personal information has been leaked to the public. You saw that news story?
It seems like it.
It's on every mailing list now.
Yeah. No, I mean, there was that story I think I saw on Reddit earlier where you can just search any person that's attending the show. If you are attending the show, you can search anybody else that's attending the show and get their like home address and stuff.
Was that live? That was like a couple years ago, not this year, right?
No, that happened 2 years ago and it happened again this year.
Really?
Didn't learn their lesson.
You might,
I did see.
You might want to clip this part of the podcast, but
I did see. No. There's no secrets here.
People need to know.
like where you live.
Oh, I use a PO box.
Oh, okay.
I don't mess around. Noisy
Smart
Pixel.
man.
Noisy Pixel operates out of a PO box, you guys. But no. I didn't see that. But I did see in the back end of the E3 like media room, you can see everyone who's applied, and you just click on their names, and all their information will show up. So I don't know if that was like just media access only. I'm not sure.
Like a networking thing.
Yeah, I don't know if you can leave them like your digital business card. It's very, very strange.
Yeah, because that was like a lot of the things that would happen at E3 is you would exchange business cards and go to these like, booths and things and schedule your playtime. So maybe this is the digital version of it.
You're with Azario and he's like, oh my God, I just got Miyazaki's business card. I'm going to take a photograph of it.
It was more like Azario.
And I'm like, dude, like he's just a guy you work with, I mean, in a way, but.
Dude. Cry.
Azario would just bring randos to our booths and I'd be like, hey, they're with you? He's like, yeah, they're with me. They're going to write something. No. I was like, cool, Azario. You're going to write something, though, right? He's like, yeah, I'm going to write something. Cool. Then we're good.
Well, all that fun stuff to look forward to in this coming week. So check the site, noisypixel.net, for new stuff. We'll do another podcast next week. And I guess that's it. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Toodaloo.
Everybody.
Noisy Pixel.